Welcome to the CyberWire's Career Notes podcast, brought to you by Keeper Security. Cybersecurity starts with password security. Password security starts with Keeper.
Hello, my name is Chris Hadnagy. I am the CEO and Chief Human Hacker at Social Engineer and CEO at the Innocent Lives Foundation. I won't go back as far as like 4 and 5 when I thought I was going to be an astronaut or whatever, but I was in college and I was in a programming class, and modems had just started coming out. We had 4800 baud modems, and I was practicing some scripting, and I was like a minor phone phreaker. Like, I loved the idea of figuring out how phones worked, and carrying the Captain Crunch whistle and getting free phone calls and all that. And I had figured out how to create the same tones using a computer that you could with a whistle. So I wrote a script that dialed a number. It then played that tone that told the number to shut itself off for about 90 seconds. And it then dialed another number, hung up and dialed another number. And then I threaded it. So I was doing like 16 numbers on one modem. Then I connected 2 modems using, here kids, an LPT1 cable. And I connected 2 modems so I could do 32 calls at once. And I ran this, and I ran it for about 15 minutes. I wasn't trying to be destructive. I shut down 75% of Sarasota County's phone system for a day. Everything went dark. The police came to the college, and they went, who did this? And I went, oh, that was me. And they're like, don't do that again, son. That was bad. And the dean went, okay, we're embarrassed. You're out, and kicked me out. And I went, this is what I want to do with my life. I'm like, this was amazing. I want to learn how that happened. I want to know how that worked. I want to know everything about that. And that kind of started the fire in me that I wanted to understand InfoSec and technology, all that different kind of stuff. I became a chef. I owned a window cleaning company. I was a car detailer. I then went to go be an IT person at a manufacturing company. And while I was there, I talked them into letting me become a negotiator for stainless steel in India and China. And I traveled the globe negotiating prices on stainless steel. And then I got bored with that. And that's when I'm like, I got to go do other stuff. And that's when I entered the realm of learning offensive security. And I started looking for courses. I found the CEH, and I found the OSCP. So the Certified Ethical Hacker and the OSCP. And I kept looking at both, and both had reviews. But, and this is a crazy way to make this decision, the OSCP was cheaper. And I said, I had that much money, so I'm going to go do this. So I went and I bought the OSCP, and I fell in love. Oh my gosh, the OffSec course was like a new type of education, something I never experienced. Getting to actually do the thing, not just read about it. Having someone push you to create programs, to write scripts. I was learning like a sponge. I would stay up all night and then work in the day. I became an addict. I literally was like a drug addict on this. I kept buying lab time. This is a maybe not so humble brag, but I was the first person to ever break FC4 in their network. This machine that they put up that was supposed to be unbreakable. It took me like 3 straight days. And when I broke it, the owner of the company reached out to me and he said, do you want a job? He's like, you broke FC4. If you passed the cert, let's talk. I went and took the cert. I passed it first time. I know it's a huge deal. And then I met him in DC. He came in, and at ShmooCon, I got hired to be the operations manager, co-trainer for offensive security. I can't even describe it. Like a dream come true. And I also learned that I was never going to be a coder. It wasn't going to happen. Every time we did a pen test, I'm like, I'm better at talking to people. I'm better at sending a phishing email. I'm better at picking up the phone. That's what I need to do. And he goes, why don't you write a framework for social engineering? It took me about 9 months. I wrote the framework. I put it on social-engineer.org. And overnight, I couldn't believe the amount of people that were on it. I get a call from Kevin Mitnick's publisher. And they say, hey, no one has ever written about social engineering like this. Will you write a book? And I'm like, no, I'm not an author. I'm not interested. And I hung up. So I call her back and I'm like, hey, I changed my mind. I'll take the book. She's like, great. So I wrote my very first book, Social Engineering, The Art of Human Hacking. Do not read it. It's horrific. But that was a labor of love. 10 months later, that book came out and it changed my whole life. I started getting calls from companies asking me to consult, asking me to speak and do this. And that's when I created my company that I have now. When I started out, I would describe myself pretty much as a jerk. I'm a very D-type communicator, which means I'm really direct. And I learned over the last decade that is not a great way to lead. You don't garner loyalty when you lead that way. And I learned that by teaching social engineering as a communications tool. But I would say now that my leadership style is more something based very much on empathy, and where I really do care about the people that are under me, to the point that sometimes I make even bad decisions for business because I care about them. And one of the other things I learned is that good delegation means that when you give somebody a task, you back away. You stay available if they need you, but you back away. And that gives people empowerment to really own projects and then to feel a lot of pride when they accomplish those projects. First of all, read a lot. Get educated. What I tell people is get educated. And it doesn't mean go to college. You can, but I think read books. Then start writing and sharing content with the community. Because this shows people you're educated. Right? Write a blog, spread some free knowledge, put the things you're learning out there, help other people learn. That's what started me, is writing that framework, is getting knowledge and then sharing that knowledge for free, not expecting people to pay for it. And then you'll find that people will come to you and they'll go, hey, I really like that article you wrote on this. Can you come on this show, or can you come talk to my people, or can you do that? Another path is you can do the same thing with education, but you go to a pen test company or an InfoSec company and you get hired and you start from the ground up and you start to work your butt off and offer your help in the SE world and doing this and that. And eventually you'll see they'll start using you more and more and you build a name for yourself. There are 526,000 jobs in the US alone that are needed in InfoSec. I tell any person that wants to be in this industry, you can find a job. Just don't expect to walk in the front door and say, pay me. Show them that you're worth it.
This CyberWire Career Notes podcast is made possible by Keeper Security. Keeper is more than a password manager. It's a scalable and customizable security platform that includes industry-leading features such as automated user provisioning, role-based enforcement policies, SSO/SAML integration, advanced reporting compliance, breach watch dark web monitoring, and more. Members of the CyberWire community will receive a free 3-year personal password manager when they take a business demo. Visit keeper.io/cyberwire to learn more. And we thank Keeper Security for sponsoring our show.